on Ben TV. I've actually been on the channel, yes.
Ben TV! Welcome back, still on the Ben Breakfast Show. Do you have your cup of tea and coffee? We're all the ladies. This is for the ladies. Not really. The men too can get involved, but this guest is for the ladies. I know a lot of women struggle with hair loss, and we don't really know what is the actual cause. I know a lot of people, even from the African society lately, they tell me that I've got lots of friends that when they move to the UK, I don't know if it's the weather or water, there's just something about it, and they start losing their hair. And it keeps falling off in funny places like the back, the middle, and most women end up wearing wigs. I'm sure men don't know about that, but they end up wearing wigs, which is okay for the day. But at night, when you're with that guy that's been looking at you, Chinade's been looking at like, oh, she's so hot.
Before you ask the question, I'm going to say, do men really just look at the wig?
No, but everything makes it look beautiful. But
really?
when you've been chatting me up all day and you see me with this nice long hair and you think it's my hair, and we get behind closed doors and I just remember, and you're like, whoa! You know, so a lot of people struggle with that. And we have a wonderful guest here to tell you about what you can do, how it's happening. And, you know, we're just talking about hair loss today. And yeah, welcome, Claire, to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Me.
Love the color going on right.
Oh, thank
Very
you.
Very wintry.
Oh,
getting ready for Christmas.
I don't know how you're doing it. You look gorgeous with your winter dress.
Thank you so much. So Claire, I know you've been involved in loads of charity, especially in Liverpool, and you've been you've worked with some people in hair industry, hairdressers and everything. So can you just tell us how you just thought, you know what, I think I should start talking about hair loss or looking at things that lead to hair loss. Can you talk about that?
So the initial start for me working in the hair industry was I hosted the Liverpool Urban Hair Show, which was a celebration of hair. We had a lot of hair. Everyone was talking about hair products. Hairdressers were happy to do the hair. But actually that made me think, you know, we are including people that have got beautiful hair, long hair, but we're not including people that do not have hair. Yeah. And it was quite a taboo as well in Liverpool for women to talk about weaves and hair extensions.
Really?
You know, they didn't want to talk about hair extensions and weaves. They wanted to just talk about real hair, you know, or to just treat it as if it's all real hair. You know, so that made me actually think of Hair Heals, the campaign that we're doing to raise awareness of the effects of hair loss in men and in women. And that's how we started campaigning and actually looking at the ethnic minorities as well, because I am an ethnic minority and I have lost hair so many times due to the use of hair products. And I figured this is time to start talking about it. It's a sensitive topic.
It is.
It's a very sensitive topic.
We need to talk about it. So what is the, you know, I've said it that even I've had friends that have complained about hair loss, maybe as a result of, you know, relocation or, like you said, hair products too can be a form. Some people claim that, you know, when you retouch your hair using all those chemicals, that's why some people, in fact most girls or women or ladies that have decided to go natural have gone natural. Not really, yes, some of them have gone natural because they appreciate their African beauty, but most of them have gone natural because they've lost their hair and they've been trying to like make it grow again. So can you just tell us what's the main cause of this hair loss thing?
I mean, there are different causes of hair loss that are medically proven, but the most common ones are postpartum hair loss. That's after childbirth. I experienced postpartum hair loss, and you know, that's one of the worst, which women are scared from any ethnic minority, any ethnic group to talk about, because after you give birth to a child, your body looks different, you feel a lack of confidence, and then the next thing your hair is thinning. And you're thinking, what is going on with me? I need to keep quiet. I don't need to tell anyone about this. As soon as you lose the baby weight, you start to think, oh, I need to get hair extensions and I need to look good. So your partner doesn't know that you actually experienced hair loss, you know, after giving birth. That's one of the most common ones. But for the ethnic minorities, it's the one for hair relaxers. Using hair relaxers and using hair extensions, because hair extensions can cause thinning ages. I can give you one example of Naomi Campbell. That's someone
Yes.
who's famous that's experienced hair loss, and
Yeah.
she was all over the media being talked about for her hair loss. It was taken as a joke.
Yeah.
But you can imagine the anxiety she went through, the depression she went through without anyone even knowing.
Yes.
So hair extensions do cause hair loss as well.
So when we say hair extensions, you know, sometimes, yeah, women use weaves, you know, the one like the weave the head and then out, like sew in. So I just want Chinode to understand what we're saying, because it's a guy, yeah. So, but another thing, do you think braiding your hair, you know, just using our normal hair, you know, the normal hair extensions like
Yes.
attachments,
Yes.
do you think that breaks the hair more than weaves?
I mean, that is a brilliant question.
Yeah.
Actually, thinking of it, braiding does make you lose a lot more than the weaves.
Yeah.
Because braiding is about pulling
Yeah.
your hair to be able to match it with the extensions.
Yes.
So there are many times where we do have thinning edges from a lot of females, and we try to hide it, you know, by wearing weaves, which makes the hair loss even worse. You know.
Oh.
So it's kind of, it becomes really hard, you know, like to be able to wear your hair in a ponytail the way you've got your beautiful hair.
Oh,
you know, you've got a
thank
nice
you.
hairline.
Yeah.
But once you start losing hair, you can't wear your hair, your
can't.
natural hair in a ponytail, because everyone's going to find out that through braiding,
Yeah.
you've got patches, you know, board patches. And we want to be able to support people who are losing hair from the ethnic minorities in that way as hair heals.
Yeah.
That's why we've launched a charity, because we want you to be able to come in the group, talk about your hair loss.
Yeah.
If you can't afford a wig, because we do understand that you have to find alternatives once you
Definitely.
lose hair. You
Yeah.
can't just go
No.
bored and walk around with patches. So that's where we formed the campaign and the charity, which we're launching in next year. Sorry, we haven't set the date yet.
Yes.
So that we can talk about this and help you to stop, you know, braiding your hair. Maybe get a wig, not a weave.
Yeah.
A wig.
Yeah.
Wig,
You know.
A week.
Well,
so,
I was going to say that. Well, with me, I don't even know the difference between the wig and the weave on. I don't even know what the difference is.
Most guys don't.
Between the two. But I'll go into the emotional bit of it. Like, you know, people sometimes get emotional. I've got something written here. Alopecia. There's so many different hair losses. You mentioned there's another one called genetic
Thinning.
sharing. Now, people go through these, you know, hair losses. Now, what sort of emotional support do you offer them? Tell us more.
Yes, Hair Heals is going to be an opportunity for everyone to talk, because the first step to feeling more confident, to feeling more secure with yourself, is to be able to come out and say, look, I have hair loss. I need help. And that support is going to come from us, where we're going to sit there and listen to you as you speak about your experience, and then fundraise for you to be able to find alternatives to replace that hair that you feel has been
So when they're
lost.
fundraising now, are they fundraising for raising money for you to get wigs to cover the hair, or trying to raise money to get products that will help you, or as Hair Heals thought about inventing some good products that can help with hair loss? 3 questions in one.
Yes, it is actually quite a lot. We are a charity, obviously. We're not doctors or medical experts, so
Yeah.
we will not look at the alternative of having to produce a product that will help, unfortunately. But we will look at ways where, if you're losing hair, we can help you. We'll leave it to you, because some people prefer to wear a wig, and you know, you asked, oh, I never know what a wig is. You shouldn't know what a wig is.
Yes, and you wouldn't know. we won't tell him.
But I've got another question. Like, what happens now in a situation where somebody comes to your charity and says, I've got a problem with my hair, and it's leading me into not men looking at me at all. Men are not looking at me, and as well, away from relationships, jobs as well. I'm not able to get work, because of my hair loss. I mean, they're probably just being emotional. How do you deal with such people? What would you advise if somebody who approached you in that capacity?
I mean, the first step when someone approaches it, obviously it's a lack of confidence and self-esteem. We are going to be volunteer counsellors, and we're going to listen. A counsellor is just going to listen to you and actually try and find, through you, alternatives to be able to help you cope with having to go out there in the general public. So the more you engage people who are experiencing hair loss, the better it is that they feel more confident and they feel like it's okay to wear a wig, it's okay to braid your hair, you know. And so it's kind of a two-way gain for us, because we'll be able to say it's okay to wear a wig, but we'll be able to point out as well that you can lose hair. And so when you do lose hair, we will kind of give you step-by-step guides on how to go out there and get that job that you wanted to get, step by step.
Before Tommy comes in, what about response? What sort of response have you had since you launched your charity so far? Tell us a success story.
I mean, we have one of the most brilliant responses that we've had unexpectedly when we launched the charity was hearing from men.
Oh, really?
Yes,
really?
Hearing from men. Obviously, we have spoke about this on.
What do you hear from men? Men are spending more. Are they spending more now after the hair replacement has been done?
They are actually happy to spend more.
The champagnes, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, continue.
Happy to spend more on their hair.
All right. Okay.
Which is interesting because, men do get a lot of stigma when they lose hair and try to replace their hair. Every man from every ethnic background gets this. I can give you many examples of. One of them is Wayne Rooney, obviously, who's lost his hair, and then he tried to get hair replenishment, and everyone was laughing at him, thinking it's very vain, it's not a good idea. So I've actually done a few interviews, like mini interviews with young male counterparts from the age of 25 to 30 who have actually expressed to me that they've lost hair several times in their lives, and they've kept it secret and they've never told anyone. They've just maybe flipped the hair on the other side, or flipped it on the other side, or just shaved the whole head off.
And that's the most interesting thing, because when we talk about hair loss, we all relate it to ladies most times, especially from the African community, because we only think we know a lot of the other race. You can even see bald men. You see in the African race, but it's not as much as you see. So we all think it's only just women that lose it, but men actually lose hair. So, okay, talking about losing hair, what can we, because we've talked about reasons for losing. It can be genetic, it can be hormonal changes after childbirth, products, but we've not really spoken about solutions apart from wigs. Like, are there things people can avoid for people that have not lost their hair? Are there things they can avoid? And people that have lost their hair, what do you think they can actually do or use? Are there some food you can eat? Because I heard that sometimes some food aid all these things, or it's just the lifestyle. Just tell us about solutions now.
I mean, there's so many solutions out there that can be provided medically. You could, the first thing we tell anyone that approaches us as hair heals is go to your doctor first and get their opinion. Our main priority is to be able to give people aftercare. So once you get that doctor's diagnosis, we will give you the aftercare, because we know doctors are very overloaded nowadays. So once they give you what the diagnosis, we want to be able to pick that diagnosis up, and that's the solution, to follow it up. So they will give you the advice in terms of health. We're working with triologists as well, which is quite nice. All kinds of triologists, from the ethnic groups to every diverse sort of triologist we can get, because they're the ones who know how to see if your hair is still looking great or not. So the solutions are for us to direct people that are suffering from hair loss to the right person as well, because when you're depressed and stressed, you don't know where to start. You don't know who it is that you can approach for you to get that good health. I can't give you the advice on what to eat, but I can sit there and ask you, could it be your diet? Maybe let's find a dietitian for you. Could it be that you're braiding your hair? Okay, let's find the best hairstylist to talk about this with you. So those are the solutions that we'll offer. We'll be more like the middlemen.
Then you mentioned something in the course of the show. You said that you will rather advise women to wear wigs rather than to actually make their own hair.
Yes, I did say that. It's a very risky statement to read because it is, and you've caught me on that one, because we would advise you to wear a wig at that moment, because that's
okay. At the moment, while you have the hair loss,
yes,
not
while
just
you're
for
experiencing
normal people without hair loss.
Wow, that's a tricky. That's one that caused to be debated, because, like I said, some people do like wearing wigs, even with a full head of hair on. You know, especially from the, you know,
our community.
But those are the other reasons that we actually, as we go on with the campaign, I'm going to address this with other channels, because we're going to address why is that, you know, Black women would prefer to wear a wig than their natural hair. But that is another debate altogether, because that's something to do with how Black women feel about their natural hair, and you know, there's deep-rooted insecurities to do with our natural hair. And sometimes we feel like our men, our African men,
you like the long. Chinade, what kind? Do you like the natural?
I'll speak for the men. Not me. I think I'll speak for the men, not me. I think men don't really. When a man walks into a wine bar club,
they like the long.
They don't see the hair. That, hey, look at that lovely weave on. They're looking at something else.
What are they
looking at? What are they looking? Right, I'll ask one of the men that is watching. Any men watching? Inka, my very good friend who's always calling the breakfast show. Tell us, call me and let me know what is it that we look for
in women, because women just feel their hair just says it all. You know, they say your hair is your glory. So women, some people naturally just
because men don't really compliment your hair. Men don't compliment how nice the makeup is or the powder. Well, they do occasionally.
Yeah, they want, but the whole package makes them like, as opposed to not having it. So it's not like they'll say, oh, I love your hair. They just say, oh, you look beautiful. But if you don't have that whole thing and the makeup, I don't think they'll still come up to you and say that. Men, do you agree? Okay,
but I was going to say that, what about the same hair replacement? Is it, do you just maintain it like normal hair, shampoo, or there's other chemicals you need to buy, a special comb? How does it work?
I mean, I've spoken to a triologist who actually mentioned to me that when you do get, especially for the male sort of hair replenishing, you have to keep it in the same hair, in the same style, the hair in the same style, and not try to comb it because it might fall off again. So those are the things that will try and help men.
So what about, do you apply shampoo, soap, anything? It's just normal. It's just like normal hair.
There's certain things you cannot do. So it looks like it's hair.
What are those things that you can't do?
I haven't been trained to be a triologist, but according to the research from the interviews I've had with the triologists, they said there are things you can't do, like oil your hair. You can't oil it because it might fall off. So there's things you can't still do.
Can you go swimming?
I think you can go swimming. I'm sure Wayne Rooney does get wet sometimes when he's playing a match.
So what's your view, before I let you go, what's your view on natural hair products as opposed to mainstream product? Because a lot of people normally say that when you use natural, like organic, cold pressed coconut oil, argan oil, all this oil, that they're all better off than using the mainstream one. What do you think?
I mean, my view on any sort of hair treatments for a Black female like myself is, for me, nothing has worked. I'll just say natural, because natural is the best way. Just blow dry your hair, even though the fire alarm does go a few times. Just blow dry your hair. You know, the natural sort of alternatives. I wish I had that opportunity to go natural, but once you start treating your hair, you stick with it. It's like an addictive thing.
Me too. It's really hard to do that. So can you tell us about hair heals, dates, or just tell us the next thing on the radar before we let you go?
Yes, so hair heals, we have got more campaigns coming up. It's interesting, you're brilliant. You've brought up some topics about the natural hair and what people think about the natural hair. So we're going to be talking about that on other channels like BBC. So we'll be talking about why Black women don't want to embrace their natural hair. So we've got many campaigns with the media coming out, which is so interesting that you've brought up all those things.
I'll be on the panel.
Definitely, you've got some brilliant questions, and that's what we want. We want Black women to come out and talk about hair, because it's almost like a taboo, isn't it, to talk about hair?
It is.
So we've got campaigns coming up, and then we've got the launch in March for the charity. We haven't set the date yet. And we've got a brilliant fashion night out, which we'd love for you guys to come in Liverpool. Well, I've come all the way here.
Okay, it's true. We should be able to go all the way.
We will make our way.
Okay, thank you so much,
Thank you
Claire,
so
for
much.
coming. And
Yes.
I will be happy to join the campaign for hair loss. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so that's not everything on the Brain Breakfast Show. Like I said, we have loads of people for you today. Go fill up your cup of coffee, mocha, espresso,
And pepper soup.
And join us. We'll be right back.
020-8808-8800. Ben TV, Sky 182, Bridging the Gap.